News from the world! Hollywood 1931. With the Hays Code ushering in a new dawn of movie production, it's a rare sight to see a character as violent and sexually charged as Tom Powers. Meanwhile, in the future, gangster movies will be made by people who think everyone in the 30s sounded like me. Like a man caught in time in the middle of his own stroke. We watched The Public Enemy and Gangster Squad.
Ah, the French champagne.
Champagne!
The schlocky movie from this week may be the schlockiest film we've ever seen on this podcast.
I'm Mr. Pink.
Sis Blue.
So Miranda hasn't seen Reservoir Dogs.
Those men's children are all identical clones of Adolf Hitler.
Once they were men, now they are land crabs.
Amanda Bynes is a national treasure.
There's like a bunch of other shit that happens in Driven.
Is there?
Secret Nazis.
Yeah.
Secret Nazis.
And Daddy lost his eagle.
I hope
So-
no one from my family listens to this podcast.
The Citizen Kane of the week is... Hello and welcome to another episode of Citizen Kane versus Thunderclap. That's for Sean. You got a thunderclap in there?
Thunderclap.
Nice. They won't know if you edited that in or if that was
Well, I
you
know.
in the moment,
I'm really good at making thunder sounds.
because we're not live streaming to Twitch right now, so there's no way to know what's real and
Yeah,
what's all fixed in post.
everything.
Welcome back to Citizen Kane versus. This is a podcast, and you know that, where we take one movie that is more of a classic and we compare it to another movie that's considered more on the schlocky side, and we ask ourselves honestly, like for real, like no
Truths.
baggage attached. Yeah, like really, we swear on it. Which one is better? My name is Jack Rennie, and I'm joined by my two co-hosts and bestest of frenzies. The one,
Oh, me?
yeah, you, yeah.
Oh,
no, we're
that
friends.
last part. Yeah. I'm Sean Jacqueline.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then my other friend,
Daniel Benoit.
Nick Nolte.
my Nick Nolte. you like
Nolte's
that?
here.
Wait.
Oh.
Fucking Ned from South Park. Oh my God. It's coming right for us. So this week, as a little teaser into the holiday season, we have a couple of gangster movies for you. One of them ended up being a Christmas movie, actually.
Yeah.
Finished with a Christmas shootout.
Uh-huh.
Mhm, mhm.
They had a specific, like the only CGI in the movie was to have a bullet going through an ornament.
There was a lot of background stuff.
The only
Okay.
bit that was like their highlighted CGI moment is what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. They were like, "Look, the computer made this for you," kind of moment. Not like the shh, don't mind the computers in the back. That's not what you don't look at that. That's supposed to be, you kind of blend that in with the rest. So the movies this week are our classic is The Public Enemy. Yeah. Or as it was also listed in the Internet Archive, El Publicas. Mine had Spanish subtitles.
Yeah,
Oh,
mine
really?
did too.
Yeah.
Oh, mine
Did
did.
you find one without that, Sean? I
No,
assume
yeah,
that
mine
was the
didn't
one you
have
talked
that.
about.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, it was great. So I also had
We had a
Spanish and like-
bilingual gangster experience.
See. Versus Gangster Squad,
Yeah.
which the more I think about it, I don't know if it's possible to name a gangster movie and it not to sound kind of funny.
Sure.
It kind of sounds like the Power Rangers of mob movies.
Gangster Squad.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Gangster Squad. This week on Gangster Squad.
Now look out for him. He's the public enemy. It's like
Bam, bam, bam.
it makes him sound less threatening because it's like in public. What is the public enemy? Enemy of the public.
Yeah,
Mhm.
someone who's a
Right?
menace to
not that-
society as a whole.
It's not like they do crimes where everyone can see it, which is like kind
No.
of true to like this era of mobsterism, as it seems like.
Yeah, discretion
the
really
enemy
doesn't seem
of
to be a
public good.
thing they care about at all, eh?
No. When
Ever.
they wanted to get at the one of the mob bosses in the Public Enemy, the rival gang threw Molotov cocktails at the bar named after the guy who runs it. They threw it at Patrick Dobbs
Patty.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Patty. They just like threw it at the building that had his name on it.
That's how you get revenge.
Yeah.
Well, and what I loved was that in Gangster Squad, they only tried hiding their faces once, and they got caught, so they decided to do away with disguises. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It kind of felt like they figured out that was the thing that got them caught in the first place, was hiding their faces. So they decided to do it in public, openly. And you know what? I would say it actually worked. Good for them.
Flawlessly.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say flawless. A lot of things went wrong and a lot of people died.
It's a flawless movie.
That's true. The movie itself is
maybe,
flawless.
But maybe that's intentional. Both these movies seem to have an underlying meaning in that organized crime is actually disorganized and dumb. And like just rooted in people being like, yeah, this'll make lots of money. Oh, dang, Tommy got killed. Like, it's just this seems to be how it kind of works
trope.
out.
Yeah.
And then like in between those two things, they make more money than anyone has ever made before.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's true. I had a pretty fun time watching these movies, honestly.
Yeah.
Compared to some weeks we've had. This is a fun viewing. I think
the schlock was appropriately schlocky to be entertaining, and the classic also had elements that made me laugh uproariously.
Yeah.
The 30s was a weird time for movies, man.
Yeah.
Like both in like the era that they're focusing on and just like the style of movie making. It was a weird time.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of like movies, I think we enjoy when we have like we've talked about, we did a little pilot on like what makes a classic. And did we come to a clear answer? No. But
no.
In terms of like your more genuine classic where like it's a black and white movie that's still known about, like there you go. That one's going to be a classic, you know, like in a really like pure sense.
It's been preserved.
It's been chosen as one to be remembered at some capacity. And this one I think had good traits for, I think what we agree, right, is like a fun for the podcast kind of classic where it like has elements where you're like, this is clearly like early cinema. They're like trying to make things happen. There's like they're figuring out performing on film, and like they hit some neat moments, and then other moments are like totally wacky patacky silly. Like I don't do you know what I mean?
The intro,
the intro
and the outro.
Where it has like
the intro credits. Yeah,
Becky Sue as Mammy.
I loved that so much. I kind of wish movies still did it.
And they're like, and they're moving. And it's like, and so as Snooty. What was the name of the guy that they offed later when he came back?
Putty Nose.
Putty Nose.
Yeah, I liked Jimmy Cagney's was him being like, like throwing little jabs.
Was he the one that played Tom?
Maroon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
So lots of funny stuff. So I enjoyed that, and like you said, the schlock was schlocky, and it was schlocky because it seemed to be taking itself seriously the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Gangster Squad, there were moments that I was like, wait, no, it knows, right? And then other times I was like, no, it doesn't know. I don't know. Did you find that as well?
Yeah, the whole time. I think it took itself incredibly seriously, but also looked like a cartoon.
Who directed this movie? Who did Gangster Squad?
Oh, let me look him up again.
It was the guy who did like
Zombieland and
Zombieland. Some other. That was like his best one that you listed when you looked it up last night.
Yeah, Ruben Fleischer.
What other ones has he done? I'm curious to see if his, because Zombieland is kind of like another.
Zombieland.
Go ahead.
Zombieland, and then 30 Minutes or Less, Gangster Squad, Venom, Zombieland, Double Tap, and Uncharted is his feature film filmography.
That's it. Those are the only movies he's done.
So was this like his first movie then? His first
third.
like major movie? Third?
Third. Zombieland and 30 Minutes or Less.
Oh, right. This came out after that.
So I wonder then, because Zombieland and 30 Minutes or Less are both kind of like genre parodies, right? Yeah. And I wonder if maybe that is kind of his thing. Maybe it was kind of intentional. Maybe he was.
But Venom's not.
Venom's not. But Venom is later in his career. I mean, I'm not saying it's for sure. I'm just saying I wonder because the film was so over the top and so tropey. Yeah. I wonder if it was supposed to be like an homage to a 30s mob movie, but on steroids. If it was supposed to kind of be a sent up version,
a zombie land version of a gangster movie.
Yeah,
is
exactly.
That's a pretty fun pitch.
Yeah,
where it's like got a bit of a it's not full parody, not you know what I mean, but it's like interacting with parody. Or something. I don't know. I'm
totally.
I right my own ass with that statement.
No. I think you're right because Zombieland isn't quite a zombie parody movie. But it is like a fun take on a zombie movie.
Yeah,
and this kind of like what if it wasn't
with the genre?
Yeah, what if it wasn't so serious?
But you know what I'm realizing that Gangster Squad was missing is zombies.
That would have made it like a 50% better movie.
They haven't made that movie, right? Like there isn't a gangster zombie movie, right?
Oh, there's got to be some
You think but
so? Not like a B one though, like a mainstream one, because that could be that'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that you could make that as like a mainstream feature film. I think it would have to be like a B movie, like a B indie movie, a Bindi movie.
A Bindi movie.
That's something different.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it's not what I'm talking about.
Okay, well, why don't I'll segue us in case you're wondering, do you have like a little intro that you do that's like themed around your boxing thing? And that intro gives me like a little further snapshot into these movies. I just feel like I haven't seen them yet and I want to know more. Well, we do have that. And Sean cuts to it here.
In the Scarlet Corner, representing the classics. Oh boy, here comes a fierce contender out of the history books. A smooth-talking, finger-snapping, slow-swinging tale of a young whippersnapper and his best guy friend going from a couple young ne'er-do-wells to the top of the criminal underworld. The family of our main guy gets all twisted up in it too, with dear mom always out of nerves, and his upstanding, war-serving, totally fine medically speaking for the time, older brother having quite the problem with the keg of beer placed on their dining room table, when there's supposed to be a prohibition. But it's not all up and up for these two troublemakers, for they most certainly get theirs, when a rival bunch of baddies shoot them up, see? And our main guy goes all crazy till he's dead too, you hear? So let that be a lesson for ya. Coming in at 83 minutes, starring James Cagney, Jean Harlow, Edward Woods, and Joan Blondell, The Public Enemy. And in the Vermilion Corner, representing the schlock. Watch out, this one means serious business. Or is it supposed to be a knee slapper? Left hook, right jab, gotta stay on your toes as Shawnee Penn plays real-life mobster Mickey Cohen. And he ain't yellow, I tell ya, he ain't yellow at all. But look out, Mickey! Josh Brolin's getting his own gang of anti-gang gangbangers together, and they ain't yellow either, see? They'll do just about anything but kill people, you got me? This movie's about those Grood all-American hero guys beating up them bunch of stools who would make our country bad and junk. Here's to you, coppers. Coming in at 113 minutes, starring Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone, Josh Brolin, Sean Penn, Giovanni Ribisi, Nick Nolte, and Anthony Mackie, Gangster Squad!
And there you go. See, yeah, them's the movies. See, yeah. Now you know. Hey, Bugsy Maru. Anyway, so, without any further ado, let us jump in. Let us commence and break down which one of these movies is the Citizen Kane of the week. All right, with our first round, which is story. Good?
Start good.
Well, I want to talk about writing first.
Okay.
Because as an element of story, which are the words that are used to convey those story.
Yeah.
And I think for me, the way that sums it up is The Public Enemy has a scene where our main guy is being fitted for a suit by a guy who is broadly telecasted to be a gay man.
Oh, so gay.
And in an old Vincent Price kind of way. let's call it. And
he's a fancy English boy.
And he kind of talks like this.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, sir. He's like 31, 33.
Six buttons.
I mean, six buttons. And he's like, oh, the only space you need is here. Such muscles. Like holding his arm. And the guy's like, hey, don't get wise with me. Watch it. Or whatever. And yet that wasn't the most ridiculously written part of these two movies, because all of the voiceover work that Josh Brolin did is like the dumbest thing I've ever. And that scene with him and his wife, when what's the 1, 2, 3, when she's like, "You're a good man. You're honorable. You're dynamite in the sack.
Yeah,
and like you're one hell of an American." I swear is what she like wanted to say next. Like it just.
I don't need a hero, Sarge. I need a husband.
Oh my god. Oh, give me the stereotype saying what muscles any day. Like, I don't know. It was just like kind of brutal in a funny way.
Also, the scene that stuck out to me as being indicative of kind of the like lazy nature of the writing in Gangster Squad is when they're having the party to celebrate their first like win.
Yeah.
And Nick Nolte comes and he's like, "Oh, I thought I'd join." And then it like hard cuts to him and Josh Brolin sitting on the hood of his car. And they just have a really mundane conversation about nothing that ends in like, "Yeah, I'm not the giving quarter type." And Nick Nolte goes, "Neither am I." And then Josh Brolin just walks forward towards the camera in slow motion, and the scene ends. There was no point.
You're also
there was a point to that scene. That was the scene where Nick Nolte tells him that he's running out of time and he has to speed up his timeline. Right. Move faster, kill more. Please kill somebody.
To make sure. Yeah.
Did he say that, or did he like pour gravel out of his mouth into the driveway?
I would say a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Yeah. You gotta speed up your timeline. That's my Nick Nolte.
I'm not a quarter kind of guy. Neither am I.
Batman?
Yeah, he had that line when he showed up to the barbecue and he's like, "I bet you'd like to know what I think about how you've been doing. Then again, I was never here."
Yeah, that's how it happens.
Yeah.
And then it gets to them on the hood of the car, grumbling at each other.
Has Nick Nolte always had that voice, like his entire acting career? Is that one of his kind of iconic traits, or did it develop as he aged?
I don't know. I'm sure it got gravelier as he smoked and drank through his life. So,
so cool.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
I think it's definitely, you hear that voice, and there's no way he was 21. He was like, "Hi, I'm auditioning to be with a part of Romeo."
Fair point. Fair point.
He's moving as the sun. So yeah, so Gangster Squad is just like full of crazy lines, like almost everything everyone says, to the point where I think it's to what we were saying about like it almost being like a Zombieland like send up, sort of itself. It would have worked, but it's like there was a pivot close to before they started shooting when they were like, "No, actually, we're just doing it for real now."
I've invaded the feed. Here is Nick Nolte in 1979.
Okay.
You can see it?
Yeah.
Let's see if this comes through.
Oh, weird.
That's not him. That's him.
Let's see. Yeah, it's not too gravelly.
No, it's actually kind of sexy.
Yeah.
He looks
got some
good
butter on it.
He does look good. God damn it.
Nicky, yeah.
So he clearly has some kind of he has some kind of throat problem now, apparently.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Goodness.
But yeah, I hear what you mean. It definitely seems like the script was written to be a bit of a like a gangster movie satire. Maybe I'm using that word wrong. But then the director was like, "But this is a serious movie. We're going to play it totally straight. the lines may seem ridiculous, but this is life and death. Like it is almost played too earnestly to believe that it's meant to be for funsies.
Well, and they make Mickey Cohen out to be such a
oh dude,
diabolical, scheming mastermind, evil like he's like Sauron.
He's a Batman villain in this movie.
Yeah. And he's prostituting women. He's dragging them off the street and he's forcing them to sell drugs. And
but I mean, it
all happens. But
the first reference that you made, Jack, when we were watching it was comparing it to Sin City, and it kind of has that it does almost have like a graphic novel type of vibe, right? Like they're definitely going for film noir, but it seems as though it's supposed to kind of be almost larger than life is not the word, is not the way to put it, because that's every movie, but larger than life in the sense that you would get from a graphic novel or a comic book or a cart, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, like Zombieland. The team he is like Zombieland though. At the team he assembles is do one more.
No, but I was saying it's like Zombieland though.
Like
the movie Zombieland.
Point.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wasn't thinking of that.
Okay.
Yeah, so thank you.
You're welcome.
I was thinking of Zombieland. So
right, it's Zombieland.
Like the team he assembles is like a guy who throws knives into people, and then like a sharpshooting cowboy with a handlebar mustache.
Yeah,
like, it's like quirky.
Also, why does every assembled like ragtag group of people have to have a fucking knife thrower? Every single one.
It's cool.
It's cool. You see,
I guess
it
is pretty cool.
I wondered too if it was. I always wonder about the influence of like the production companies in these what seem like pivots, where like they were like, yeah, we're gonna do a funny thing. We have a good director behind it. We got some money to put at it. We think it'll be fun based on his work on Zombieland. He's gonna make it. This is gonna be fun. And then they got like Ryan Gosling and Brolin, and they were like, and then Sean Penn got in, and they were like, wait, no, it's a serious movie now. It's a drama. Like, I just wonder if there was like, I don't know. I just wonder what would make a movie do that. And maybe like actors could make that influence. Or like Emma Stone changed like since Zombieland and then this movie coming out, she changed a bit as an actor and became like really legitimate. Like it happens. Like that happened with the X-Men movies with Jennifer Lawrence, where suddenly what's the Mystique?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She became like the main character because of the actor who was playing her, not because like I'm just saying I'm not making something up. That happens.
No, that does make sense, and it's really kind of solidifying for me what makes this whole idea not work is how like Sean Penn's Mickey Cohen needed to be less like a real life trash human being and more like Colin Farrell as the Penguin in the Batman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not Bullseye. No, I think the Penguin, like it's still that kind of like noir vibe, but it's way heavier on the prosthetics and just like way more cartoonish. But I don't know how cartoony you can go when you're talking about like raping women and fucking you're blowing people's brains out every 2 seconds.
I think Gangster Squad is as cartoony as you can get while talking about.
I guess so.
That subject matter.
Right.
We should point out with the 30 seconds we have left.
2.5 minutes.
2.5. All right. That the Public Enemy is like a PSA. It's not they like tell you right up front, like, we are not glorifying this man. This is a cautionary tale.
And then at the end when he gets dumped onto the floor and he's crazy now or whatever has happened to him as well.
He dead?
I thought he was dead.
His brother. Yeah, he was dead.
There was a bullet hole in his back.
Yeah, there was blood in his back.
Was?
Yeah.
But it was like, be ye warned.
Yeah.
For the Public Enemy is something that eventually we, the public, must deal with.
that was kind of unsettling. I feel like that message would have been better received had it ended with him in the hospital, because then he's kind of a victim of his own actions. But then when he shows up dead at the doorstep of his family, you're like, oh, so you're saying that if you misbehave, society has a right to murder you in front of your family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I think
Cool.
it's saying in this world we live in, the only outcome for ne'er-do-wells like Tom Powers is death.
Right. It does definitely, the whole PSA thing does make a lot more sense in retrospect, though, because I found that the movie had like a linear arc. That seems like it doesn't make any sense. It had it had a story with a beginning, a middle, and end. There were story beats, but it felt completely devoid of any nuance. It felt very much like this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and it all builds on itself. But there's nothing like organic about the progression of the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the weirdest, like, out of left field thing that happens is when Patty's girlfriend sexually assaults Tom.
Yeah.
I thought she was gonna blow him. I straight up thought she was gonna blow him.
I think she did.
Yeah, she rapes him essentially.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that part.
Because he's too drunk, and then the next morning she's like, "Don't you remember?" And he's like,
"Oh, I missed the line before he slapped her." And I just took that as Tom being Tom.
that's just Tom.
Yeah,
he's like that. Let's see if this comes through.
Negative.
Do you get that one?
Bell.
Nothing.
No.
Okay. Well, Bing Bing. I had another thought though, which was something about the Public Enemy. Oh, I thought. I was surprised by how much it took the time to be like, these people come from like troubledness. That you had like him being beaten by his dad.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. If you're who was a cop, this kind of, I guess, yeah, that shades it a whole other way.
Yeah.
And like they both these movies try to like sort of skirt around PTSD, but the Public Enemy, to its credit, has the older brother like pretty like racked and like kind of skittish
fully
from it.
Like, my hands are covered in blood from going overseas, and now I'm home to find my brother covered in blood.
Like, doing for the country that I fought for, and like this whole thing. The
enemy is here too.
Yeah, exactly. The public
enemy.
Woo. But then Gangster Squad treats it as like he went to war, and now damn it, he just can't help being a hero all the time.
Gangster Squad is some of the worst propaganda. It's pretty egregious.
Yeah. Whereas I like the Public Enemy one where they portray the cops as there's the guy who blows a whistle as he starts shooting people.
Yeah.
Just in the street, like someone was running. And it's like, this doesn't leave much room for the possibility that they're running from you because you're shooting a gun at them.
Yeah.
It doesn't leave much wiggle room for that really realistic experience that people might do.
But you know what's funny is I saw that happen and I was like, yeah, I'd buy that happening in the 30s.
Yeah, 100%.
And that tracks.
Anthony Mackie, he throws a knife into a guy at a party. He was probably selling drugs.
Yeah,
maybe.
So his hand has to go.
So he threw a little warning knife.
Yeah, I'm just gonna subtly mutilate that guy.
Yeah,
it was just a warning knife.
And then go grab a drink at the bar.
Yeah. And then he's like, "You're gonna want to pull it straight out." That fixes crime.
Also, the movie Gangster Squad had some of the worst, like, trying to sound like old timey talk.
Oh yeah. And the Public Enemy had some of the best genuine old timey talk. Where I think someone called him.
It was modern talk when they were writing it.
It was like I don't know remember the middle word, but he's like, oh, he's that yellow no booby stool. The final word was a stool.
Yeah.
It was like, you yellow black bellied stool.
Did you say yellow no booby stool the first time?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But I was like, what?
Yeah, and in contrast, there was a moment where Ryan Gosling just straight up calls Josh Brolin a dumbass.
Yeah. You're a dumbass.
You're a dumbass.
You're a dumbass, Josh Brolin. All right.
Well, that's slowly morphing into Michael Jackson, I feel like.
No. Chop wood. That's ignorant. A lot of South Park references this episode.
Yeah.
Sorry if you don't like South Park. So, story. We've discussed it. I don't know what we found, but we did it. We're going to take a brief pause here for a moment. This is where ads can occur. They will be brief. They will be random. They will be for things such as like boner pills. What do we get ads for on our podcast?
I think I got one for like Ryerson once. Sorry, Toronto Metropolitan University.
Trail Mix U.
Yeah. I got 3 Japanese car commercials in a row. Not like ads for Japanese cars. Like they were definitely in Japanese.
They're in Japanese.
Yeah. Well, the algorithm's been tracking you.
Yeah.
Your frequent trips to Japan.
Oh, God,
all right, we'll see you after ads or just right away. Woo. Hello, and we are back.
Hi.
Or we were just here. Hey.
Hi. Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying hello to me. Sorry.
Me and my friends, my real buddies. We would do crimes together, right?
I'm sure we have.
I would do crimes with you guys. I would do real crimes.
Again, I'm sure we have. I don't know.
John, stop repeating that so much.
Remember.
So hypothetically, if we were to do crimes, what crime would we do?
Ooh, we could pirate movies together.
Yeah, but I mean more one where you make money. You don't just like save money.
We could sell the movies in Chinatown.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That seems very low level and kind of like lame as a criminal. Selling.
Yeah, I think that'd be my hit though. Like you want to do a crime where you can
crimes, like barely crimes,
where like the people, barely crimes, or someone's enforcing it, and like their main response isn't like, "Hey, you stop that right now." They're like, "Why are you? Come on, man! You can't do that."
What the hell?
Yeah, they'd be like, why? Also, why are you still selling DVDs? What is this? How are you?
Yeah,
you're probably making zero money. Well, just go home.
They're actually CDs. You need to put them in a computer to watch.
Yeah, it's actually probably a good idea.
I would probably sell like non-lethal drugs is what I would do.
Okay,
yeah.
Weed.
Yeah, I mean the weed it wouldn't really work anymore because of dispensaries, but like in that vein, like a drug that I feel like wouldn't cause any kind of real long-term harm to somebody. Like I wouldn't sell coke or crack,
right?
Or like heroin.
So a drug that isn't weed that also doesn't do any long-term harm.
Maybe I'd sell like really strong distilled hash. Something you can't necessarily, or like MDMA,
right.
but like pure MDMA, not like that weird fucking sketchy shit you get on the street now, like Molly. I wouldn't do Molly. I would sell like the kind of MDMA that I did as a teenager,
right?
Which was the best. It was really great.
Let's go back in time. Jack,
Dan hasn't come down from it yet.
Yeah.
You and I, let's go back in time and find Daniel when he was in his early 20s and do crimes with him.
Oh, I wish.
Oh, that's prime crime, Daniel. That's
just a bit of driving under the influence.
A bit. Try a lot of it. I was a
you find Dan back then. You got to catch him first. He's on the move, that guy.
Anyways,
what a stool you were.
What a public enemy.
Yeah. So, picking up, let's get back into it. Round two, huh? Round two. I'm assuming that the phone won't come through. So, production, good. Bing bing.
Nice.
Very good.
I will say that Gangster Squad kind of shines in the production arena. It has a distinct look and vision that I think is executed quite well. Obviously, it's going for like a modern stereotypical noir, but the color palette and just like the lighting and the whole aesthetic. Yeah, the whole production design. Yeah. It's very cohesive. And I think they actually did quite a good job because again, they did a good. Do you disagree, Sean?
I take umbrage with distinct, because to me all the backgrounds had that very like early 2000s CG fill-in look, and it all kind of had that glaze that Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow had, if you remember that film.
Yeah.
Is that the one
where
with the Nazis
everything's
on the
like-
moon?
No, that's
Close though. You're thinking
yeah,
it's the one with DiCaprio, right? And it's
the
like
Jude Law.
Same, whatever.
Yeah, same.
British
yeah,
version
same.
of that.
But it all has that hyper contrasted, but also like the color palette has been like sepiaed a little bit.
Yeah, a bit.
Washed out.
I don't know. I didn't mind it. I'm kind of with Dan. Like I thought they made it work.
Yeah, and like I do hear what you're saying. There is certain kind of like cinematic not standards, but kind of consistencies throughout all movies of kind of anywhere in the last like 10-15 years. I'd say you get a bit of that like desaturation, high contrast kind of thing.
Yeah.
So maybe distinct is too far of a stretch, but it definitely seemed like a movie that knew what look it was trying to achieve, and I think executed it quite well. And I think that it like there are characteristics that you can find in all movies of the time, but I would say it still kind of has its own thing happening as well, because just even by virtue of just like the costume design and that. Yeah. I'm curious about the CGI thing. I know there's a couple of scenes that you pointed it out while we were watching it, thinking that it was like really bad CG, but I also
the lighting was just harsh and
sometimes when you edge out a person with a backlight, it makes the background look fake. It makes the person stand out.
The Chinatown scene was might have had like a street that they made and brought like the truck on, but all of the like background stores and like the horizon stuff that was all put it.
Probably that happens all the time, so I wouldn't.
It just looks a little cheap.
Them.
Also, the car chase was unwatchable.
So dark.
It was dark. It was pretty dumb. I would say the action in general is like a fucking mess. All the fights suck. They tried to do a thing. It's just that unfortunate thing where like I don't want to like dump on people too much when they something doesn't fully work, and so they try and fix it. So they did that. They had this idea of the power going out in the jailbreak scene, and they had those gunshots where that was like cool. A little, and it smelt a little bit like a fix. Like, what if we try this creative idea to fix how this scene didn't look how we wanted it to? Like, they thought the muzzle flashes were gonna like do something different than what they did, so they like imposed something different. I still appreciate that they tried it.
Yeah,
to be honest,
I thought it was the most ingenious part of the film.
Kind of.
I
it still kind of was a creative thing.
It was creative. I feel like if they had, and it's funny because they didn't even hold on those flash cuts for too long. I think it was probably like maximum a second. But if they had even just cut that in half, it probably would have been twice as effective. It
would have been way better
because you still get a taste of it, but you're not holding on it for so long that the person gets tired of it or like gets ahead of you. You know what I mean?
It looks like it, and it looks like every time the flash happens, everyone was told to like stand still for a second.
Well, that's exactly it, and it makes no sense that the flash would almost freeze time. It seems like they're taking a photo almost, as opposed to
if you were like there and it was happening in real time and it was pitch dark, your brain probably would like take that limited information and try and stretch it out for as long as it could. But the film was also lighting the actors a bit, so it just looked like everyone suddenly was like, yeah.
It kind of goes back to your point, Dan, of you mentioning the graphic novel and how this movie feels like it was supposed to have more of that. Like, I would have appreciated that more if it was like maybe more, again, like kind of Sin City-esque. Like Sin City has stuff like that. I feel like I remember in that where they
definitely started down that vein, and I feel like it got a little diluted along the way. But I also kind of feel like if you kind of look at the whole movie through that lens, it all starts to make a little more sense. You know?
Yeah.
Sorry, Jack. You mentioned when the scene was happening, when they're in Chinatown and they have they unload the fuel. You said something smelled a little fishy about that moment, right? There was something like you made some comment about it, and it kind of not fitting in somehow.
When we were watching the movie,
are we talking about the Chinatown scene? Is that what you just said?
Yeah,
Did you purposely make a something smells fishy joke?
Oh no, I did not.
Okay, because that's good.
I mean, yes, I did.
Good job, Sean. Well done.
That scene was not in the original cut of the movie. The original cut of the movie, the showdown happens. That showdown, the trap, is they all are in a movie theater and they come through the screen firing the machine guns into the audience. And
I see why they wouldn't want it.
The Colorado shooter happened like 4 months before the movie was to be released.
Oh shit!
Fuck.
So they scrambled and like reshot the scene to be in Chinatown with the gas tank and.
Well, that would explain the poor CGI in that scene.
Yeah, I was just commenting. Yeah. We were talking about, like, again, it's back to a bit of a story issue of how Gangster Squad had a number of moments when you're just like, we kept being like, why aren't they just shooting people?
Yeah.
Like, this whole Chinatown setup makes no sense of like, yeah, we're going to lure them here and then I'm going to walk around the thing and you're leaking the gas and I'll throw the cigarette and then start shooting. It's like, just have people with guns in the van. He was going to walk right up to it.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
So maybe, I guess the movie theater trap was just as elaborate but different. So they thought they had to have just as elaborate but different alternative.
But a lot, yeah. Like I think you're right. But elaborate is fine. You can have the same level of elaborateness,
elaborativeness,
elaborati. It can be as elaborative.
Elaboration.
I think that's the word, isn't it?
Elaboration? Yeah, probably.
I don't know. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I think that it can be as elaborate as the first plan, but it just has to make sense in the end.
Yeah.
And it just didn't. If anything, it was
that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Zombieland, Jack, by the way.
What?
Never mind.
Okay.
Public Enemy.
Yes.
Off the start.
Yes.
Production wise, my notes went through like whiplash because we start with the like public service announcement of like, this is a cautionary tale. Da 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 da. I was like, okay, weird. And then
I didn't see that part.
Credits.
Was there like a scroll at the beginning saying that?
Yeah. Oh. It was like a held thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then it goes right into the credits, which I was like, also weird, but like hilarious. Cool, which we've talked about. And then it goes into about 5 or 6 just establishing shots of the
like
street.
Stock footage of streets.
Like kind of zooming down from like above to, from a macro to a micro, which I was like, this is old. This is too many shots. But then we get that incredible like one take of the like parade walking through and like children on the leading into finding the 2 kids, I think at the milkery, at the milk and beer brewery.
Give me a swig.
So you go from the one extreme to the other over the course of the first minute of the film.
Yeah.
But then sorry, Jack. I don't feel like like the movie ever really gets back to that level of production value again.
It had cool stuff.
Yeah. Did it?
I liked the shots of the cop just shooting at people in the street. It was like a cool nighttime shot, and how the smoke went up into the air was actually really cool.
The keg in the kitchen table, that whole sequence.
Keg in the kitchen table
pretty fucking cool.
Was pretty neat. I liked their little heist. I liked that it was like boring. You know what I mean? I actually felt like that was like there was a truth in it.
They're just
that
sticking
it wasn't
tubes in a keg.
They're just like, you climb up, we'll pull up the truck. And then we'll wait here for I'm guessing like
hours,
a few hours.
Yeah,
yeah, to go through all those kegs.
Yeah, and like to fill up that truck.
Yeah,
like right under their noses. How'd they do it? Yeah. Well, over the course of a day, they fucking just emptied it into a truck.
Yeah.
Also, if there's any remnant of like gasoline in that tanker still, all that beer is just.
I mean,
yep.
That was the
Delicious.
that was prohibition booze. Was it beer or was it like whiskey casks? I couldn't. I wasn't.
They only
hard to
ever
tell,
talk about
but they
beer.
kept-
Yeah.
But then but that's when the guy comes after that heist. That's when the guy comes and says, I'm getting my brewery up and going again.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think that's when they go to beer. I think because it was triple
So
X
it was
on the
whiskey
barrels.
before?
So it had to
Okay.
have been
Yeah,
that
deadly
whiskey.
whiskey.
I also like that, like, apparently during Prohibition, like, you could still have a bunch of people clearly moving trucks in and out of a building that says Lehman's Brewery.
Yeah.
And
there's
the gate
just
it's
guys
just
with
like
guns outside.
yeah, and everyone's like,
Yeah.
what's happening there? That's when, like, is it the public? Like, it's in the public. I'm like, that's why I started questioning if I understood what this term to mean.
I was also confused, and maybe somebody can fill me in. I am no history buff. When Prohibition was announced, did that not mean that there was no alcohol allowed anywhere? Like, you weren't allowed to possess alcohol, right? So this whole idea that they announced Prohibition and suddenly people are like running through the streets with shopping carts full of booze and strollers full of booze and emptying their trucks to fill their trucks with booze, like it.
So they also like
Is that how it happened? Because I imagined they'd say, you know, it's Prohibition, we're shutting down liquor stores, you're no longer allowed to buy it, and this kind of made it seem like there was a fire sale.
Well, I mean, because it didn't become illegal until New Year's Day, 1920. So in
that
the
was a
lead
New
up to
Year's
that
Eve.
day,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, and like I think I actually don't know the exact history. I imagine this is like not way off.
Right.
Oh, definitely not.
That it was like, yeah, the law is coming into effect, so you got to sell off your stock.
And do you think you
people...
could just walk into like a bar or a cafe in the middle of the day and just order a beer the way these guys were doing during Prohibition?
Well, they were in the crime spots.
Yeah, they ran the
Speakeasies.
booze places, so they would go to the speakeasies.
Were they speakeasies? Aren't speakeasies normally like an evening, nighttime, after hours thing? Not like I'm going to get a beer with brunch?
No, it's supposed to be a illicit bar, illicit tavern.
Got it. Okay.
And I think, I mean, Sean, do you know about this too? I'm pretty sure Prohibition doesn't mean that you couldn't own alcohol. I think it was specifically that no alcohol was being sold anymore. Like, the idea is that, like, you stop that river from running, but I don't imagine it.
I think you also weren't allowed to like drink it. I think it was like even the consumption. I'm not sure about the owning. So, and you could probably get like doctor's notes for medicinal use of alcohol or something like that.
Of course.
Yeah. Where's Daniel? There's
Do you know what I mean, though? I just imagine, like, based on how, I mean, I guess it was super churchy, so I'm sure it was implied societally that it was like, you shouldn't imbibe, but
fun production fact.
Yeah.
Just when Tom Powers' buddy gets machine gunned from the upstairs window across the street.
Yeah.
It closes in on Tom diving behind the wall and kind of like peeking his head out, and then
oh no,
and then
no,
live ammunition.
No.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Of course.
Live ammunition.
During that scene, I was actually like, "Oh, the squibs in this fucking in like during this time period are really effective." I didn't know they had.
I don't think the shot when they're like walking down the street when the bullets. No. That's not. But just him like peeking his head out and then pulling it back and then the bullets coming. That one shot was live ammunition.
That is insane.
You don't think they cut it, eh? You don't think they like?
Mm-mm. No, it was it's like part of the facts about the movie.
I mean,
which it was apparently a common practice because you want nothing else makes those bullet holes, right?
Yep.
Other than shooting bullets.
Yeah, it's like the Robin Hood we watched a couple summers ago where they had a professional archer shooting people with arrows.
Yeah, they just wore like a leather pad.
They just wore like pads on their torsos and a guy was dinging people around the room. Fucking crazy.
Man, pre-code Hollywood. Fascinating.
Meanwhile, Alex, he's still out there.
I
Mr.
thought
Baldwin.
did he not get charged? I thought he was found guilty.
I think he's being sued or something.
It's on and off.
Yeah.
Right.
It's hard to tell.
What a joke.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I kind of some of that action, I don't know. There were moments like I mean, we're talking about the accents production.
Yeah.
So anyway, I also kind of liked how there's a funny thing where like a restriction can make cool storytelling, right? Like clearly weren't allowed to show violence on screen.
Except for like punching and
yeah, but they couldn't show someone getting
slapping
killed.
grapefruiting.
Well, no, they showed
that
they
didn't
showed the
count.
dude getting killed. They
I don't,
showed
it was always off screen.
no,
His
they
bu-
showed
his buddy gets
his
shot.
buddy gets mowed down in the street. The scene we're just talking
They
about.
showed that. But I think it's of the era where it's like you can't show the gun and the murder in the same shot.
This is famously a like the Hays Code was brought in 1930, but it wasn't fully implemented till 34. So this one is like not a code adherent movie because it shows like women in silk dresses and like thighs and like bodies, and it shows the cops being fallible.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey. But it seemed like that, but it still led to cool stuff though, where like that weird scene where Nutty Nose or whatever is snotty nose.
Putty nose.
It's Patty Schnoz.
Patty
No,
Schnoz.
I was
Putty
thinking of
nose.
Zombieland.
What? Sorry, what?
Yeah, I think it was Zombieland.
Oh,
Oh,
bing bing.
Zombieland.
Yeah.
Got it.
But how he had that scene where suddenly he's like, "You wouldn't let him do it to me, would ya?" And then I believe in Christmas now, please, fellas. He starts playing the piano and stuff, and then you just see him take out the gun behind him, and then you hear him like hit the keys.
Yeah.
And also just like him he steals 2 pistols and then he goes in and he's kind of getting into his clothes, and then you hear a bunch of shooting and you hear someone kind of scream, and then he comes out holding the 2 pistols, and I was like, that's actually kind of cool.
It's more effective than if you just watched him go in and like shoot a guy.
It depends. It's just cool that both can exist.
Yeah.
You know?
I also want to talk about how underqualified that gun salesman is to run that business.
Well, can I put some in?
Salesmen.
Yeah, do you mind if I just load this gun right now?
Load 6.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to put more bullets in that gun? Are you sure you're done?
Yeah. Stick them up.
Stick them up. No, seriously. Why did Patty make them get? This is a different story thing that came back to me. Why did he make them give? He's like, give me all your guns and money.
Cash. Yeah.
Why? Why?
Because if they don't have money and guns, they can't go out onto the street and fuck shit up.
But
I thought it was in case the police were to check on them, they wouldn't have anything leading them or linking them to criminal activity.
No, I thought it was because he knew like these guys want to go out and like fuck up the other guys, but he can't have that right now, so he's taking away their weapons and taking away their ability to like go out and purchase weapons and
that makes sense.
And I thought then it seemed like he was like just taking their money and running away.
I thought he was setting them up for a trap or something.
Kind of felt like it because then people were lined up outside the building. Like it lost me in terms of what the fuck was going on. Yeah. Anyway. Okay, so 3rd round. Yeah. Let's do it. Our 3rd official round. Yeah, which is acting. Good. Bing bing.
Bing bing.
So Sean Penn is as an icon. He's a hero for all actors to look upon and aspire to be like. Oscar winner Sean Penn.
Yeah.
Does it again in this one.
You've done it again.
I think Sean Penn.
It would have been great if it was a comic book movie.
Yeah, I think he read the script. I think he read the script and was like, "Oh, I know what this is," and then came in, and then they were like, "Oh no, we're doing a different movie, Sean." And he was like, "Well, I prepared it this way, so this is what you get."
I actually think that's kind of what happened. Like, I kind of think that.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Kind of like I already methoded my way into this, so I'm not like I can't unmethod this role or whatever he does. Like, I just feel like that is kind of actually what happened.
Yeah, because he definitely stands out. It is jarring. It is very jarring.
It's really jarring.
Just a little too. It's weird because he fits into the movie, he just doesn't fit in with the other people. Like
Yeah,
that's the weird thing. Like he definitely fits
he
the
kind of
world
belongs
they're
more.
creating. Yeah, he almost fits better, but he doesn't fit with the rest of the cast who's doing something slightly more understated.
Yeah.
And
you
like
have Gosling.
Well, I was going to say Emma Stone's character, who is most often with Sean Penn. And if they'd given her, like, I didn't even believe that she was a like witty damsel or anything, like a witty dame or anything. They didn't give her anything.
Not in the movie.
Yeah, I didn't really understand
do.
what she was supposed to be besides woman.
Yeah. So like you get a whiff, a performance that like anybody could have given because nobody gave her anything to do that showed like her talents.
If she had been more, is flapper girl the word I'm looking for? What is a flapper girl again?
Well, Flapper's from the 20s.
Okay, so maybe
But
I'm
like-
so then I'm not.
But more a
listening.
wisecracking dame, you know?
Yeah. A little more wisecracking dame would have added a bit of spice to that character and fit in with Sean Penn more. But it's weird because she has to walk that line of like, I'm like forced to be with Sean Penn and I actually work with Ryan Gosling more. So
what
I can't.
What if her character, you were never quite sure whose side she was on? What if they actually tried something with her character and we're like, we don't know where her allegiances are. She's so far been loyal to blah blah blah, but like now blah 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 is here, and
which clearly was thought about because it skirts close to that.
Yeah.
And then they're like, nah.
Joking. She just loves Ryan Gosling because he's pretty.
Yeah,
and he is pretty.
Also,
he is pretty.
Dan, again,
those tries,
dude. Those fucking triceps. Just his arms in general, so big.
He's very beefy.
He's a beefy dude.
Below the neck.
But they're not too big. That's the thing. They're just like well defined.
Yeah.
Gosling was weird.
Yeah, Gosling
But
doing
good.
it. I don't know. You know, there's look. This is where I get off, Sarge.
Yeah, the voice was a weird choice, and I still don't know where I think he's an amazing actor, but I don't actually know. I'm so confused by the Ryan Gosling thing because he absolutely
is.
He's never fucking doing anything, but it all reads so well and so deep and like I don't know. He's something.
I think with what this movie became, I think we're right, by the way. I think this movie was supposed to be something else.
Mm-hmm.
But with what the movie became, what we watched, I think he's the best part of it.
Mm-hmm.
In the genre that it ended up being. Like I kind of like what he did. Yeah, there was like a full-blown, like he had his sidekick who was named like Krunko, and they're like, he's the killer, and he has like a one white eye. This movie was meant to be like
oh yeah, right.
Yeah, the guy who flicks the cigarette.
And he zips away on the car really cool after that. And it's like neat. And he drilled like you know the drill. Yeah. That was our production thing that we didn't talk about. The burger
transition of the fucking century.
Yeah, which I feel like the exact same transition actually happens in Zombieland.
Oh, maybe
you're right.
Maybe
I think that exact transition happens, like something like that,
like brain
so that's
to brain.
His calling card.
Yeah,
brain like brain murder to food.
Yeah,
it's like the Cornetto trilogy. It's the brain. It's the brain to food trilogy.
Yeah. It might also happen in one of those movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, Gosling, Brolin is kind of annoying.
Yeah. Again,
the
writing.
He has a tough task with that.
He does. He does.
It's hard. Like he is. I think. I know we say this a lot, but I think that he is kind of doing the best with what he's given. He's supposed to be that like American hero type, right?
Yeah. He's not uninteresting.
No. And it would have worked if he was like the straight man in a goofy world. Right. And then it would make sense if it was kind of like he's Dewey Cox essentially, and then that scene in the bathtub is her being like, "Damn it, Dewey, you're the best man I ever met." And he's like, I believe in freedom too much. You'd be like, but then it's like everyone's being serious and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Nick Nolte.
I want a burger now.
Oh.
Is that weird? Does that make me a
Have a
cannibal?
McNulty burger. Yeah.
The whole thing's gonna be off the books.
It's sad. He was fine, but again, all he did was kind of sit and talk.
Yep.
Or stand and talk.
But what else does a great actor need to do, Sean?
I guess so, hit
Just
your mark, say the lines, and go home.
Ask questions. State
It is my
statements.
I do want to say before we leave her entirely that Emma Stone was good in the little they gave her.
Yeah, but
interesting.
anyone could have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a performance where you go like Emma Stone brought a nuance that only she could. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
No.
But again, there was nothing for her to do.
Unlike Zombieland, it's like Zombieland, where she actually does put in a performance that that's Emma Stone's performance.
Yeah.
Cool.
That was before she was Emma Stone, right? That was kind of one of her big breakout roles was Zombieland. Yeah.
Because she had Superbad was the one.
Right.
That was her breakout role. And then Zombieland was pretty soon after,
Yeah.
Who else starred? Anthony Mackie. Again,
whatever.
Written poorly.
Yeah.
Anthony Mackie
the writing fails everyone.
Yeah, it does. Anthony Mackie
I don't get Anthony Mackie.
he is like he does the Ryan Reynolds thing, right? Where like or like even a Bryan Cranston thing. He's a good actor, but I've never seen him develop a unique character for a movie. It always just seems to be like Anthony Mackie under these set of circumstances. This was Anthony Mackie as a cop in the 40s who throws knives.
Yeah,
in Avengers,
on a police force that very much did not want anyone of color on it.
Yeah, it did not.
Yeah, I was going to not talk about that.
They didn't bring that up in the movie at all. The fact that he's on a force that probably would have killed him if they could have.
They were all pretty touchy about the Mexican guy.
Yeah.
They weren't letting that one pass by, though.
No.
What's he doing here?
Yeah.
I got the jump on you, didn't I?
Yeah, Jesus.
Good old Michael Pena. It's weird seeing him try and do something somewhat serious.
Pena,
sorry. It's Zombieland, Jack.
Oh, Anthony Mackie.
Oh, Zombieland.
Giovanni Ribisi, cute. What a cute guy.
He's great. He is unlike Anthony Mackie. He is someone who is very capable of being a chameleon, and he wasn't anything too crazy in this movie. But I think he's amazing. I think he's just
the
great
forecasting of his death was unbearable.
It was obnoxious.
I will say that.
Yeah,
it was so obnoxious. Where he's like, all I'm really hoping for is that I just me and my family, this cute boy of mine and me, we can just live happy,
Yeah.
And you're like, shut up, you're dead. Like
you're gonna die. Listening to a radio.
We should speak briefly also of the other one. There was so many actors to speak of in that one, but Cagney.
Oh,
I thought he was quite good.
I thought so too.
I liked him.
Yep,
grounded. Felt. He was more intimidating. He was actually had moments where even in that silly old style, it felt there was something to it.
Yeah, and I want to give him extra points for his drunk acting. I actually thought it was really convincing.
Yeah. Oh fuck, that scene.
And him the physical work of walking towards that place at the end before he shoots it up. It's oh, I know what you're gonna do. And that takes work to not just be Gosling walking up. Although Gosling was good too when he got fucked up after seeing the kid die and how his state of being changed. I was oh, you do try in certain moments. That's what you do, don't you?
Yeah,
which is actually quite smart. Yeah, it's you do so little that when you actually do something, it's that much more impactful.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then I also liked his brother though, the
Edward Woods. Matt Doyle, yeah.
Matt Doyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were originally supposed to play opposite roles. They was switched, and then the director. What happened? The director liked Cagney's look better, and they were using a new microphone technology, which meant that they could have a leading man who kind of mumbled his lines because the mics could pick it up better.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry,
Nice.
I mean his buddy in crime. What was that guy's name?
Yeah.
Matt.
Doyle.
Yeah.
That was Matt.
Yeah.
The other guy was Tommy.
And then his brother was
Tom
Michael
Powers.
Mike
Mike Powers. Yeah.
Mike Powers.
which is the name of the high school that I almost went to in Toronto. Michael Power.
Mike Powers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the brother was a little intense for me. I get that was kind of what his character was supposed to be going through, but it was a little over the top. I couldn't when he came back from war, was he supposed to be injured or disabled?
No,
in
he
some
was like
way?
a hero, I think.
He was like shell shocked, I think.
Okay,
because
because
he had PTSD.
Okay, because I was wondering what the whole issue was with his mom having to like offer to help him off the chair, and then he had a bit of like a weird muscular thing happening at the dinner table where his arm was a little askew, and like he was making some interesting choices, and I wasn't totally sure what that was about, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
no, I didn't pick up on that, but maybe
Yeah,
I missed it.
I couldn't tell either, Dan, but it seemed like they were implying that like they were going for a pretty general like he has been affected by war,
right?
Whether that means he actually had an injury or he is just
Mentally,
fucked up.
traumatized.
he is injured.
To generalize my view of the acting for The Public Enemy, it's a different style a lot of the time. Some of the actors, though, I thought gave like performances that I would see in a movie nowadays, like just saying the words kind of thing. The only person that made me actively cringe was the like house nanny in the Powers household.
Do you mean their mother?
No. The other young woman that was like living. I don't think there was the sister. She wasn't a sister or anything like that, but she was like living with them, taking care of the house or something. But
I thought that was
every
like the
time she
brother's
spoke-
girlfriend or something.
Yeah,
that what it was?
I think she's
so.
I think she's like the older brother's like wife.
I was very confused then. Anyways, she made me cringe every time she opened her mouth.
Also, this is also kind of a writing story thing. The way that the fellas approach the gals in this movie is pretty fucking wild.
In
where
the
they,
club?
It was the
in the pub,
30s.
and they just like saddle up around them, and they're like, "You're a real nice piece of meat." She's like, "Thanks for noticing."
I was wondering what YouTube, if it was around in the 30s, what like YouTube pickup artists would be making, and is stand awkwardly across the bar from them and stare at them until they invite you over.
I mean, that happens now. That to me wasn't the weirdest part of it.
Oh, they didn't even invite them over. They just like walked in.
Well,
Right.
they had
After
their other company escorted,
Passed
carried
out.
out.
The
yeah.
lightweights.
Right.
I also this is I don't want to be outwardly like mean about this, but the also the second gal, so because Cagney meets one gal, but then he's like whatever, and he goes out clearly and he's like, I'm gonna meet someone, and he like sees that the pretty dame.
Yeah.
And there's at least one scene later where she's supposed to be like this character of like the pretty dame who he meets, and the way her hair is done and just her look in general, she looks like an old French king, like a sickly old French king, and we're supposed to be that like believe that she is like the.
Well, I got, first of all, that woman's posture gave me fucking hives.
I think she's too tall for like the cinema at the time.
Oh, maybe so she had to just like arch her back like fucking Gollum.
Yeah.
It was fucking terrible.
Because I think they also had her in heels most of the time. So
Oh, that poor woman. Yeah. But I also, and maybe I'm wrong, but I got the sense that she was supposed to be a little trashier than the first woman.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But that's not what you're talking about. You're talking about how she resembled ancient royalty.
Yeah, it was just
Ancient
funny. There was
male
one
royalty.
scene where they were like in their hotel room, and it's like him talking, and it cuts to her, and it looks like a sickly Louis XV, like an old British judge. Like she's like ashen and like with dark circles, and like her hair looks like a judge's wig, and she's like, "Oh, you know how I am," and I was like, "What is going on?"
Kind of that voice.
No, what do I have?
Is it the first girlfriend he shoves the grapefruit into her face?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's right after that he goes and finds
Right, that he finds. He
a
just
bit
drives by a woman and is like,
yeah, the French aristocracy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like I was like, I just couldn't take it seriously. Like I know tastes change, but I don't know. But they one.
But what an actor, right? I don't know. She barely did anything.
No.
Okay.
There was one gal who got to do one speech once. Was it her?
The woman who sexually assaulted him? No, that was her. That was her. I don't remember what her speech was,
yeah.
but it was
it was in that same scene where she looked like a king. She was like petting his head for a second and got to say a speech about something.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
Forgettable. Anyway, well, bing bing, round over.
Nice.
Let's take another wee break. Maybe there'll be an ad, maybe there won't be, and we'll come back. We will rate these movies, and then we will fix the one that lost. That's how this works. Okay, and break, Zombieland. And we are back, maybe. So, let's rate these movies and pick which one we think is the Citizen Kane of the week that we decree, that we like are saying. I think I'm gonna stop shying away from the fact that I think I say like I make it sound like this is just our opinions, and I think I want to start leaning into the fact more that like we are telling you, which one
we are deciding. This is definitive.
Yeah, we are slowly working through the entire catalog of all movies to like kind of say these ones are the better ones and these ones are less.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll update. We'll put out a magazine soon. We're gonna start them okay. Anyway, so first round, story.
I think both stories have their pros and their cons. But one movie was just slightly less silly than the other in terms of its story. And that movie...
I don't know which movie you're gonna say.
I'm confused.
Oh, really? I
don't know.
I know The Public Enemy. The Public Enemy was the less silly story progression of the two.
I agree.
Yeah, okay.
There were fewer moments. The Public Enemy is like not the thing that makes that movie kind of work at times is not the script or what is being said, weirdly enough, or the story. Like you kind of let those things come together for yourself, but really you're just watching actors just do a random scene and you're like, well, that was a scene.
Yeah, that is how it felt, eh?
It's kind of driven by force by Cagney. Like you're just like, okay, your sheer like charisma alone is gonna drag me through this film, and I'm here for it. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it is like a bit more of a story.
Well, and it is very much like there is like most stories really operate on like cause and effect, and it kind of feels like The Public Enemy does at times, but it is more just like them showing you the scenes from like increasingly more violent periods of his life. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like it's a cause and effect kind of driven story. It just feels more like we're just watching like a recap of like
it's supposed to be like everything he does is worse, is a more of a public menace than the last thing.
But I liked how they did. I like how they worked that, honestly. Like the progression where it starts as them as like they're young and they're doing stuff, and then they do little gigs and it doesn't work, but then they end up getting caught up in this, and it's pretty harmless, and then it's this, and then they meet this guy. Now they're working with Nails Nathan. Foppish criminal extraordinaire who dies from being kicked by a horse. Who they kill back.
Which starts again. That was the point where I had to like pause the movie, go pour another cup of tea, like just kind of gather my thoughts and be like, did they just kill the horse because it kicked their boss?
I did appreciate that they paid the guy for the horse first, though. I did appreciate they bought the horse.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's amazing actually that they did that.
Yeah.
Which
horse? Third one down.
I was like third stall, and I was expecting the guy to be like, "That's not the third stall." Oh my god!
And what was the horse? They come out with the horse's like nose bag thing, and I forget the name of the horse was very bizarre.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, was that
anyway,
was
so
that
it
the
seems
name
like
of the horse? Because it was
I thought
it was a word that I didn't recognize. It didn't like make sense as a name. But yeah, yeah, that was.
It seems like we
great
agree.
scene. Yeah,
That
I think so.
Yeah.
That
Ridiculous.
Gangster Squad gets
the
the
public
point.
enemy. No, shut up.
Okay.
The Zombieland gets the point. So
Yeah.
the public enemy gets the first point. We all agree the public enemy.
Yeah.
Production. We didn't talk about too how the public enemy was pretty lacking in any music, and not in a way that was always good. It kind of needed more music.
Yeah, it used music very sparingly. It was a lot of like using little interludes to transition from scene to scene, and if there was
some
like
diegetic stuff,
what does that word mean?
where it's like music occurring within the scene.
Yeah.
So they're at
Yes.
a club.
Yeah,
The honky
a
tonk
lot of that.
piano in the background, you know?
Yeah, a lot of that. But otherwise, I did notice there wasn't a lot of like scoring for the movie.
Yeah,
which felt very flat.
Mind it.
I'm not saying I didn't mind it. I'm just saying it didn't come up.
Yeah.
I feel like this is Gangster Squad. Gangster Squad is still kind of fun to look at.
Yeah, it did. Honestly, okay. We watch a lot of movies.
Lights suck.
What did you say? Lights
They're
suck.
okay.
You say
The fights.
the fights do suck, but generally, if we're talking like production value broadly, or the
I'm never talking about production value.
no, but the production. Okay, hold on, listen to me. The production
we always come down to this
category. Production value is okay. Maybe it's not production value specifically. Fine.
You often are like, well, this movie, guys, we agree this movie had more money, and we're like, yeah, we can see.
No,
that.
but that's not what production value is. Production value is getting the most out of the thing that you're using to tell the story.
Oh, then the public enemy.
It's not. What? No. I mean, I'm not gonna say no.
That team of creatives used everything and more that was at their disposal to create that movie. And Public Enemy, and other movie, insert Gangster Squad. That's the one.
Yeah.
It's humdrum run of the mill to me.
See, I would disagree. I don't think it's run of the mill. I think it actually does something, for better or worse, to actually stand out and have its own unique aesthetic. And it is clearly going for something that is not run of the mill. And I think that it actually does achieve that from a production standpoint. It's obviously not a great movie.
I think if you turned off the sound for both movies and then watched each one, you get a lot more just visually out of Gangster Squad, and then also you don't get to hear any of what they're saying, and then it's probably decent. But you get scenes of like, how the crafting of like the girl being abducted and taken to the house, and then the thing gets blown up and they die in the fire, and like, there's a lot more to take in that's doing some work. Whereas like Public Enemy is mostly some people go into a bar and say, hey, Tommy, did you know there's a new shipment? Like, it's just
simple.
I know, Sean. I'm not trying to like say simple doesn't work. I'm just saying, for me, I think I agree with Dan. I'm on Gangster Squad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sean.
No, it's fine.
Sorry, Sean.
I'm not sorry, Sean. Why would I be sorry?
Because you have hurt the universe.
Oh, you're the universe now?
Whoa, I take my apology back, you pompous
part of the
fuck.
Universe.
All right,
part of the universe.
Let's go into voting on acting. Me and Dan versus the universe. And this feels like we're saying James Cagney and a few others versus
all of
everybody.
Hollywood. Yeah.
Versus all of Hollywood, just not on the same page in the other movie, with pluses and minuses around what happened out there. I don't know. I don't have an immediate answer for this.
Yeah, this is always a really tough one because the acting styles of the time are so different, right? Like we're talking naturalism versus whatever the word is to describe what people are doing in the 30s, which is not that. So it's hard to like fault a movie for that, but it's also hard to give that movie credit when you have a bunch of really high caliber actors in Gangster Squad doing some really, I mean, not all, but they're all acting better than people acted in the 30s. You know what I mean?
Man, semantics.
Yeah, this is
semantics?
Is where I go back to a little bit.
I didn't really have any issue with the performances in The Public Enemy as far as like, whoa, that's a different time. Whoa, you know.
Okay, all right.
It didn't pull me out like some other films from that era have.
Sure,
yeah.
Fair enough.
Here's what I come back to, because I hear what you're saying, Dan. Like, you have Brolin and whatever doing like more modern acting that we connect with more right now. In Gangster Squad. But this is where I come back to, I think, how I'm gonna come to my decision on this, which is that did the acting help the movie or did it hurt the movie?
Yeah.
And I think it was the acting. I don't actually blame the actors. I think it's actually I would actually blame the director and like the producers and stuff for, as we're smelling that something happened behind the scenes with this one. That the team wasn't directed to act in a certain way to make this movie work. But the acting is what fucks this movie up. In some ways, like the story is rough, but like,
other than the production and the story.
It's not on the same page at all, and it's off. So the reason, like, even with the script, if this script acted like Zombieland that we keep jokingly saying, this is a pretty fun movie. I believe that.
I'd watch Gangster Squad again because it's like it's very watchable. You know,
it's watchable schlock.
Yeah.
Whereas I think, especially given the simpleness of production in The Public Enemy, it's actually some key performances that make that movie kind of neat.
I will always remember the brothers' look over the pouring of the beers, you know, that just like being able to give that subtle but intense moment performance that gives everything you need to know about the dynamic of dinner.
Yeah, I like internalized more acting stuff watching Cagney and stuff than I think watching anyone else. So I don't know. I think for me, it's going to be The Public Enemy. I think the acting helped this movie more than. Well, I think the acting. As I said what I said.
Yeah. Sean, you agree?
Universe?
Yes, I do agree. The universe concurs.
The universe saith. I'm kind of happy to be in this position because I actually still don't know, but I don't have to decide because I either way the category is decided. So
Sean, Daniel, you do need to say.
Can I pass?
No.
Can I abstain from?
Sometimes Sean keeps track of it sometimes, and it goes into other episodes. And
stuff, right. Shit. Fuck. You're right. Fuck. Shit.
You'll fuck up my data.
Yeah, he's keeping the stats.
Fine.
One abstention.
Hold on, wait a second.
Yeah. What way are you farting in your room right now?
Every way. It's omnidirectional. So it's like Cagney versus.
You can just vote for Ryan Gosling if you want, Dan.
No,
one's going to judge you.
No, but I want to really think about it because in my mind right away it was Cagney versus Gosling, but it's not Gosling's movie. It's Brolin's movie.
Brolin's movie.
And Brolin is good, but his character is ridiculous. Cagney's character is also ridiculous. Also, Sean Penn is there.
Yeah.
And there is
the drill.
Well, and I guess that's the thing is that there aren't as many glaring poor or odd performances in The Public Enemy. So I will let that decide it for me. So I will concur with the group. Concur with the group?
Ooh.
Yes. Good. It's always good just to go along with the flow.
Yeah, that's what I like to do. I'm a sheeple.
Yeah. No, super brave.
Member of the Sherpa. Sherpa.
So that means with a score of 2-1, which is how winners are always decided, essentially. Well, actually, it'd be 3-0. The Citizen Kane of the week is The Public Enemy.
I would watch that movie.
The Public Enema is such a different movie.
That's okay.
That means it's happening in public.
I'm just gonna look it up.
I've never seen. Yeah, I was gonna say I've never seen a public enema. That really would be. That would stop you, eh?
Like if you were walking in public and you saw someone getting an enema publicly, yeah.
Like a performance art piece that was like, in 2 minutes, this trained doctor will perform an enema on me. This is in protest of all of the cocoa makers in the world and the slaves that they use.
Apparently, Public Enema was a funk band in California from 1976 to 1979.
Yeah, that tracks. Did quite the career too. Did that enemas? I remember when I was very young, like 4 years old.
Oh no.
Where are we going?
I became severely dehydrated. I don't exactly know how. I'd have to ask my mom. And I remember that part of they thought it was a flu or something, so they had to give me an enema. And I remember the enema. I remember it being like almost like a little like cotton tablet that you put inside your butt. Is that do I remember that correctly? Because I've since
no. You're not remembering it correctly, because I believe just after you received the enema, someone else came into the room with the enema kit and looked at the person who had just done your enema and was like, "You don't work here," and he went and ran down the hallway toward the exit.
So I have this is a molestation memory that I have that I need to unpack.
Well, when you put it that way.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sean. No, but I have some things to rethink now. But honestly, is that what enemas are? I don't remember. Because I've had to prep for a colonoscopy since then, and it wasn't that. It was like a liquid thing that you like syringe into your anus.
Yeah, that's what I think an enema is. It's more like what a douche gives you, isn't it?
Hey,
isn't it
episode 94? And
look,
what's the problem, Sean? Are you shying
about enemas?
Are you shying away from enema talk?
So Citizen Kane, let's versus Gangster Squad.
I want to get to the bottom of my enema query. Did I misremember? Was there ever a time where enemas were little pieces of cotton tablets that you put in your butthole?
In that? No, because you said you want to get to the bottom of it, and you also kind of mispronounced it query, and I think we know what the bottom of your enema query is.
Is it not query? Is it query? How do you pronounce?
It's a query.
It's a query.
How did I mispronounce it?
I'm just saying it's all layered. No, I didn't. I'm just stupid.
You're a son of a bitch.
What's the runtime right now, Daniel? I just have to make note of that for later.
so you can cut it out. We're at an hour 34.
Okay.
So we're doing all right. Just wrapping up here. Just everyone quiet. So Citizen Kane, that's us. We're Citizen Kane versus the loser. So I think this is a pretty easy answer, to be honest, with Gangster Squad.
More logic and death.
Yeah.
Those two things.
Kill people.
Kill people.
Connect some of those story points, which is like not that complicated. That's why it was like frustrating. And lean into it being like a graphic novel, like kind of silly vibe.
Right.
Yeah, because the cast like maybe like more closer to Sin City without like quite getting to the Sin City vibe. But like more of a Sin City vibe without being Sin City.
No, I was thinking like Zombieland, for example.
Well, I think tonally, in terms of like the writing, I think something closer to Zombieland is more appropriate. And then visually, aesthetically, lean a little more. I mean, I don't know if they need to go any further actually with the visual tone of the movie, because it's already pretty distinct, as Sean so eloquently put it earlier.
We needed way more of a montage of them like screwing up Mickey's like operations with like crazy zany guerrilla tactics.
Yeah, not just punching people in the face.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be like they drop out of trees and the truck goes under an overpass and they're like up in the top and they like lower a rope down and like grab something and they're like, "Whoa, who's doing this?" And like knife guy throws a strategic knife into like a light switch, and then it just needs to get way more out there with how they undercut and make it ridiculous, which I think is more a fun concept. It's like make him look like a fool by like using crazy tactics with this weird team that you've put together.
Yeah,
you know,
that solves it.
Gotta do it.
Give Emma Stone a character.
Give Emma Stone a big character.
Yeah, make it so you're never quite sure which way she's turning.
100%.
Make her a femme fatale.
Yeah, there you go.
In the genre where femme fatales are.
Yeah.
I would also say I'd want to see maybe like 20% more shirtless scenes of Ryan Gosling.
Sure. We can all get behind that.
Yep.
Great. Well, there.
Solved.
Fucking simple. We kind of covered it in the podcast, so I figured it would only take a second.
Great. So can we get back to this enema thing?
Yes, Daniel.
So
cotton. I don't know about cotton specifically.
That sounds
sounds strange, right? Like it doesn't make it.
unclear.
Yeah, but because definitely something was put inside my butt. And I don't think it was a liquid, but maybe I'm wrong. I was 4.
Yep.
But I've always had this memory of
buddy.
it being a thing.
Yeah. Do you want to talk to someone about it, buddy?
I don't know. I'm trying to talk to you guys about it, but you guys aren't being very helpful.
Okay.
We're trying to pass on it.
No, I know, but this is not what friends do.
I'll pass on it on this podcast, but we can definitely start an enema podcast if you want.
The public enema?
Public enema.
The public enema. Aw.
If that's not already a podcast, we gotta fucking trademark that shit because that sounds. I'm gonna Spotify right now.
I mean, the punk band from the 70s in California.
The podlick enema.
Oh. God.
There's one for a new intro one day.
Is Christmas next?
Oh yes, it is. So tune in next week. Dan, we didn't run this by you, but Sean and I talked about it.
Yeah, Sean
I told him briefly last night.
Oh, you doing okay? Great. You're on board?
Sure, I guess.
Sounds
Remind
good.
me again what they are. Go for it.
We're doing. Sometimes we do in terms of our classics. The classic is also kind of schlock. It'll be classic schlock. So this Christmas we want to do Christmas crap with y'all. So the classic is the one that you recommended, Sean, which is called.
It's called Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. It's from the 60s.
Sounds great.
It's on YouTube. I scrubbed it through. There's a lot of children in alien costumes.
Nice.
Apparently, Martians invade the North Pole.
Okay, sick.
That's the premise. Yeah.
And this is from what year?
Awesome.
I think 1963.
Fuck yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And the contemporary schlock is one that my buddy, friend of the pod, Dimitri Katatakis, has been recommending to me kind of for years now, and apparently it's about to go off Netflix. It's called The Christmas Wedding Planner.
I think I watched this movie actually with Marisa a little while ago. That's why it sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Last Christmas?
Probably.
There you go. It's coming back. So Santa Claus versus the Martians versus Christmas Wedding Planner. Buckle your shit belts, everyone. It's gonna be stinky.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you enema correctly. No.
Yeah,
no
and
cotton
if
balls.
anyone has an answer to my enema query, email us.
Email him directly.
No. Email the
Daniel.
pod. Email the pod list. The podcast email.
Okay.
At
Citizen Kane versus
vs@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Subject line enema.
Yeah.
Enema
Enema
of the state.
And flag it as urgent.
Thanks everyone. Happy holidays already. And if you want to make our Christmases special, you can randomly e-transfer us like $100.
If you want to listen to this podcast ad free, send us $20 a month, and I'll just email you the WAV file.
That's a great idea. We said you're just paying for a streaming subscription of just our podcast for $20 a month.
Just Dropbox links.
A one-time payment of $20, and literally you won't be able to get us to stop
sending you our podcast
for as long as you make
now.
them. It's not a subscription; it's a one-time payment. It's a flat fee of $20.
$20 for life. I will send you the MP3. A WAV is too big. MP3 file.
Yeah, we'll share a private YouTube link.
Yeah.
To you.
Yeah. Which involves a how-to enema.
Yeah. Yeah, it links to that.
Okay, where should I send my money?
My butt.
Okay, you asked for it.
All right, everyone. That's the podcast. Let's all sign off by explaining enemas in our best Nick Nolte. All right, here we go.
So this one time, I had to go with your butt. You gotta make sure you got enough of the saline solution to clear out the